my name is Grit, and I am a strange Danish girl. Some time ago, Marvel dropped their first look at the upcoming Doctor Strange movie, and I looked through a lot of reactions, and people genuinely said, "Oh, I don't know anything about this," and I really think that's a shame because it's a very interesting universe, and I have decided to make this video in a way so it is a guide through this universe and an analysis of the teaser trailer. So no, it's not a reaction, but it will help you get an understanding of who he is and these kind of things. And the way I'm going to do this is that I will talk a bit, and then I will show you a good snippet from the trailer to emphasize my point. So let's dive into a short background about Stephen Strange. His full name is Stephen Vincent Strange. He is born in America and has studied medicine. He took his degree in super speed, like he almost had his degree before he could walk, and he became a surgeon, one of the best surgeons in the world. But sadly, it that coded with the money and the fact that when his family members died on different occasions, he could not deal with his grief. So he started to become very arrogant and took kind of the high road of lifestyle. So uh, he became extremely rich, extremely arrogant. So in some way, you can say it's a bit like Iron Man before he became a superhero. Very arrogant, very rich. But one day his car crashes um, and his hand is crippled. He can never again perform surgery, and therefore he travels around the world trying to find a cure for this, and he loses all his wealth. And in a very last attempt to try to solve this, he uses his last money on a ticket to Tibet, where he meets the ancient one, which we will talk about a little later. Now, let's have a first look at the first few images. Now, you can see the car crash, which I talked about earlier, and you hear a voice talk. And some people have said, is that him talking? I don't think so. I wouldn't believe that a person would speak about himself in third person. I believe this could be Baron Mordo. Again, we will talk about him in a short while. Um, And again, I would say something fishy is going on here because in the second picture, you can see that the car seems completely uh, full of water. It's all covered in water. Yet when you see the third picture, it's maybe like half the car, and only at one side it only looks like it's some of the car which covered in water. It's a little strange. Um, and then you have an image of the Marvel logo, the very known Marvel logo, however it turns to life. And this should be a sign to you that this is going to be a darker, more greedier tone than we so far at least I see from Marvel. And it would make sense because this is rated a horror movie and it's directed by a director which is well known for his horror movies. He practically only had horror movies on his TV over movie made. So it's going to be a lot darker than at least what we have seen from Marvel so far. And DC, Dr. Doom called, he really misses you and he is looking forward to catching up with you as soon as possible. Um, so, um,
Stephen Strange. Might I offer you some advice? Forget everything that you think you know.
and the next few scenes you can hear the Ancient One speaking and about um, and the talk, she's talking about the potential Strange has for magic, um, or she's at least probably talking about this, and in the comics, he is very adaptable to magic. It has been hinted several times in the comic books that maybe he was such a good surgeon because he was this adaptable towards magic. And you see Doctor Strange into that. Now, in the comics, it has never been clarified exactly where in Tibet that is. This could be Lhasa, which is the capital city in Tibet. Uh, we then ship to Strange in the hospital, and we get the first and only look at Rachel Adam. Now, it has um, it has been a huge secret for several of the roles in the movie who they're actually playing, and Rachel Adam is one of those which role is kept in secrecy by Marvel. So a lot of guessing has been going around. Who could she play? Well, the two most common guesses that she's either playing Clea, which is which is Doctor Strange's lover and disciple at one point, and eventually also become his wife. She is from the Dark Dimension and is niece to one of the greatest Doctor Strange villains in the universe, uh, Dormammu. And yeah, another guess is she could be Nightmares. Nightmares is a role which is treating all the superheroes in the Marvel universe, at least if they're living in New York. And um, again, she's treating them because if you have a secreted identity, it might be difficult coming to the doctor and saying like, "Oh, I got this damage," and then you keep turning up with all these damage. Someone might catch up to you if you keep on turning damage every time. So she's helping. A third guess is going that she is playing a role which is a hybrid between Clear and Night Nurse, but we won't know for sure until the movie has run. But it is both character is romantically involved with Doctor Strange, so it is very likely that he's going to be a romantic lead at some point.
You're a man looking at the world through a keyhole. You've spent your life trying to widen it. Your work saved the lives of thousands. What if I told you that reality is one of many?
Now, we are looking at Baron Mordo because we see Strange in Tibet and then we see Baron Mordo for the first time. Now, the character's full name is Baron Karl Mordo, and he's a disciple of the Ancient One who very early on discovered that he was evil. However, he preferred to have him stay there rather than where he could keep an eye on him rather than not being able to control him at all. I'm sure it won't backfire the least bit to have a disciple of evil intent. No problem. Uh, well, when the Strange visits the Ancient One, he quickly discovers that Mordo is trying to kill his master and is trying to warn him. Uh, um, and their kind of a lifelong struggle and battle takes shape because Baron Mordo and Doctor Strange really don't like each other. They really like almost hit it off with each other from the first day. Um, uh, that is because eventually Strange in the comics over time raises to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, and Baron Mordo in Cried wants that title very much because it is the title given to the most powerful sorcerers on the planet. So again, also Sorcerer Supreme can on Earth be Doctor Strange, but in other worlds, other people can hold the same title. So he sees both the Ancient One and Doctor Strange to be in the way of his dream of becoming Sorcerer Supreme. Therefore, he is ending up aligning himself with Dormammu. Um, So yeah, if you want more information about this, dive deeper into the backstory, look in the description box down below. And I will leave a link to a YouTube channel named Jim Frye where he puts out the comic books. So I'm going to leave a link to Doctor Strange's origin story down below in the description box. But for now, that's all you get. Now the role is played by Shooter 84, and this role is not completely villainous like in the comic books. Uh, he is different from the mythos. 84 has said that Mordor is a very complex character, and I don't think he can be nailed in either way. Also, if you check the picture again, I'm going to leave a link down below in the description box. If you check the picture from New York, it does look like they're working together. My guess would be that they do start out as friends and partners, and then somewhere in this movie things are going down south, and Mordor will turn evil, probably to future movies to come. Um, Now, when you look at the if you look at the picture here in the teaser trailer of that model, you can see that he is holding a paper in his hand. I don't know what that paper is, but I would believe it is be important. And I have also been told, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told that this is actually not Tibet, but this could be Hong Kong. It could be true in that in the comics they do travel around the world a lot. And yeah, he is uh, they they don't really get around, so it's not unthinkable that this is Hong Kong because I believe they get a lot of points at the dimensional travel agency. But again, they're coming around both in this on Earth and this universe and other dimensions and these kind of things. So they do come around quite a lot. So it could be that they are in Hong Kong.
I don't believe in fairy tales about chakras or energy or the power of belief.
Now, in the next shot, you see Matilda Swinton. I should point out there's been some controversial about this. I won't dive too much into it, but I did see a review, a video where one of the script writers was interviewed, and as he said, no matter who they had chosen for this role, someone has been angry. Now, the controversial is that originally this was a Tibetan man who was playing, who was Strange teacher, and now they've chosen a white female. Problem is if they had chosen a Tibetan actor, whether or not that was American Tibetan or just Tibetan, they had angered China, which 80% of their income staff come from. Now, some people say, okay, but what about an Asian man? What about a Chinese Asian? Well, that would have been a problem too, because don't you then stamp on the hopes of all those Tibetan people which wish for independence? So now they've chosen a woman, and of course people are like, whitewashing, this is racism, this is discrimination, why didn't you allow that? So no matter who they choose, just remember, I don't say it is unfair to bring this up, just remember, no matter who they choose, someone had been angry with them. Now, let's leave it at that. Now the gender, as you can see, she doesn't exactly look like a woman, and that's because the gender depends on the eye of beholder. There's been people in her um, position before, even though she has been around for 500 years. that is stated around the characters. So briefly about the Ancient One is that his original name was Yao, and he studied sorcery in a peaceful part of Tibet. Um, he was first granted immortality, but later was that reduced to just very slowly aging. He is the sorcerer supreme and becomes the master of both moral and strength. Uh, Strange actually also managed to obtain long life after he passes a test against death. Um, so um, but the Ancient One is a very powerful sorcerer. He has also taken on the Marmo and these kind of things. So yeah, and then you see Strange being punched, and you see, well, his kind of soul float out of him. Now, a lot of people have said, "Oh, she knocks her soul out of him." I believe it. I would say it's a little more complicated than that. Because Strange has an ability to call on his astral projection form. I would classify that as a spirit version of himself. The advantages of being in his spirit form, in his astral projection form, is that people can see you and be affected by you. So you can have, if someone else go into that world, you can have a fight in the middle of the street and no one will see you. No one will be affected by this fight. The disadvantage is that if you stay out of your body too long, your body will perish and you will be doomed to roam the whole here on earth for all eternity, and no one can hear you, no one can see you, and also just while you are out of your astral form, your magic is weaker, so you can't really use magic, so that's not so good. So again, I will leave a link down in the description box where there is the story of when Baron Mordo steals Strange's body and he is rushing against time to find it once again.
You wonder what I see in your future? Possibility.
Now we get our first look at the main villain in the movie, played by Mads Mikkelsen. Ooh, a Danish villain. You're in the run for money. Um, but before we dive into who he's playing and all background and all these kind of things, you might need to. I would really like to show you something which I really don't have seen others bring up. Now, in the second before you see the villain, and I really advise you to go out, check the trailer yourself. Go to 1 minute and 9 seconds in. Now, slowly click play and look very carefully. Just before that, there is a shot where it looks like some doors opening and you glimpse a room. Now, in that room, there is some chairs and a table, and it appears that there is a glow from the table. This could very well be the first shot of the Eye of Agamotto. Now, the Eye of Agamotto is an amulet which is very powerful. It has a lot of ability. I won't list them all here, but for example, it can force people to tell the truth. Um, and also, what's interesting here, a lot of people have guessed because there is pictures going around seeing Doctor Strange with the Eye of Agamotto hanging around his neck. There is a guess that one of the Infinity Stones could be in the necklace because there is also a theory going that Thanos' name, where each letter hold a clue to where the Infinity Stone is. and the N in Thanos could be necklace. So we don't know for sure before the movie comes out. Um, but in the comics, he is granted it's not so in the comics, but again, things change. And in the comics, he is granted the Eye of Agamotto after he takes on a fight with Dormammu for the first time and actually managed to win. So, so go to the trailer, check. You really have to be quick to catch this, but I'm going to put it in here. But even so, check it out yourself. Now, here comes the villain. And of course, it's Mads Mikkelsen. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, he's playing villain in everything." Yeah, he is. It's very Hollywood to do that. Now, he's also one of the roles which Marvel hasn't revealed who he's playing. So I'm going to give you as much information that I've been able to find, and then I'm going to give you um, my guesses, my take on which person it could be he's playing. Now, the 29th general guesses has been that he's either playing Dormammu, Kalu, or Nightmare. The 29th December 2015 Barca said, "I've seen a lot of names thrown around. None has quite picked the name that we're choosing for him. So it's still in the question who is actually playing." Uh, Feige has said that Matt's character is a sorcerer which breaks off into his own sect. He believes that the Ancient One's just protecting her own household, and that the world would be better off if we were allowed um, some of these things through. That is a pretty dangerous move, but Feige has also stated that there is very scary things out there in the multiverse and other dimensions. So, but enough beating around the bush. Let's actually have some guessing who it's going to play. I will try to come up with some suggestion which fits with the information. At least some part is going to fit some of the information which has been revealed to us. Keep in mind, this is just my guess. You are free to try to guess on your own. It's just me trying. So, the first guest is Kalu. He is a sorcerer which lives in Tibet with Yao, which I mentioned earlier, and he was the one who helped Yao cast the spell, which granted peace and good times and immortality and these kind of things to them. Now, he, on the other hand, has a quite different vision. He wanted to build an empire up from here. So Yao fight him, and it was in that fight that Yao lost his immortality. Kalu, after losing this fight, fled to the dimension of Ragador, where he hid. And eventually, he, in the comics, returns to fight off both the Ancient One and Doctor Strange. Now, his excuse for doing these horrible things, killing people, taking slaves, all these, is the same excuse that every power-hungry dictator has used. He just wanted to make the world a better place. How beautiful. Now, the second guest is a person named Asmodeus. His real name is actually Charles Benton, which is the leader of cult of Sons of Satanis. Satanis is a demon created by Dormammu. Again, I said that Dormammu is one of the major villains in Doctor Strange universe. He is granting his followers powers in exchange for their souls. Great deal. Who wouldn't want to give that up? um, it should be said that Charles Benton was actually, ironically enough, also a surgeon like Strange. So apparently some doctors have secret identities we don't know about. Um, he Asmodeus kidnapped Clea and eventually managed to banish both her and Doctor Strange to another dimension. So if Rachel Adam is playing Claire and she's the niece of Dormammu, that must be some crazy family reunions there. Hello, cousin, which followers banished me and my husband to another dimension. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in that family reunion. In any case, these are my two guesses. I don't know who they're playing, and as you can see, some of the information I relate to you is fitting, other parts won't. So maybe again it's a hybrid of different roles. Uh, I should maybe very shortly it should point out in the shot where he is walking down into this church or what it is, chapel perhaps, and he is shortly turning his head. Now it doesn't look like he has anything around his eyes, but on the later point he has, and it is said that he's calling on something. So I don't know what he is calling, but it could very well be Dormammu or Nightmare. And now, Dormammu we have already talked about several times, and as I said, he is a ruler of the Dark Dimension and a very, very powerful uh, magic user, and truly very powerful adversary. He is trying to healing Strange in several occasions, and he is coming quite close several times. Nightmare is a villain which rules the nightmare dream in the dream world. So next time you have a nightmare, think about that it could be Nightmare on the list. Um, and yeah, he has his own realm, and if you have a nightmare, you can be trapped in there. Um,
Why are you doing this?
There are other ways to save lives. So much you don't.
also get a glimpse again of Mads Mikkelsen's eyes. This time, they definitely changed, so it is very likely that whatever he's calling has in some way responded to. Um, and you see also that Mordor and perhaps Strange is running down in a now torn and shattered version of the place you saw before, where you saw the Baron Mordor for the first time. It could be Mass's character there in pursuit of, but we don't know. And now again, the next few images you have to look very careful to see my point here, because you see the ancient one sending him up through the roof, and then you see him falling down. And again, I should very shortly say, oh, a lot of people said the second frame here, Inception vibe, Inception vibe. I don't say it's wrong to use say Inception vibe. I definitely see why, but keep in mind that dimension jumping, which I believe this is, was used in Doctor Strange long before there was anything named Inception. So just keep in mind that. Now back to that. So the point is, you see him falling down in New York, splitting up in several, and I do believe that could be the music. I don't believe in the movie that we're going to see this in the same order that we see here in the teaser trailer, because when he falls down, it looks like his cape is floating around him, and he definitely doesn't wear the cape in that first shot. And when he falls down again, he doesn't wear a cape, so it could be dimension jumping. Maybe he's fighting a villain. Maybe it is a vision of what is to come, but we don't know that for sure. Doctor Strange coming out, or the name Doctor Strange coming out, and then you see him in his full attire for the first time, where you really can get a good look at him. And you can see he's standing in front of a very strange window, and that's because after his training in the comic books is concluded, he returns to New York and buy a house in Green Village, which he's become his sanctuarium. So of course, the house is not going to look like anything you would find in most people's home. And so, and again, the window is very iconic, at least for comic book fans. They have seen that window a lot of times. He is jumping in and out of that quite often. Now, you should notice that the cape he's wearing is floating around him quite a lot. And unless a door or window is open, there shouldn't be as much movement as there is. And now the reason behind this is that the cloak he's wearing is not a normal cloak. It is the cloak of levitation, and it's not that it has a mind of its own, but it can have a little bit free will at times. So sometimes if he retire for the night, take it off, it might have run off during the night, and he has to start the day by walking around the house trying to find the cloak of levitation. He's sometimes like, oh, where does the cursed cloak of levitation gone now? So it can, in some aspects, act on its own without him. Now we have reached the end of the trailer. Anyhow, that is all for now. I really hope you felt that some of the things is enlightened. If you felt, oh, there was something I skipped over, please let me know, and I will do my best to try to fill in. If you like the trailer, please hit the subscribe button, and if not, then see you next time.